Hello, this is John Kavanagh from D&V Software, and this is a quick introduction into the grid view structure of Phast 7. Once you're familiar with the data in your study, you may find the grid view useful as a method of working with input data that allows you to view and edit data for more than one item at a time. In this quick introduction video, data from the Phast example study supplied with the software are used to explore the various features of the grid view. So firstly, you want to open the example study from the Open Example options from the File tab of the ribbon bar, and save as a new study named Grid View Tutorial. We'll firstly talk about displaying the data in the grid view. So the upper grid displays data for only one item at a time. Normally the data displayed in the upper grid changes if you select a different item in the tree. So for example, if you select the study icon in the study tree, the input data for this folder becomes visible in the upper grid. If you change the selection in the study tree to tank farm, for example, the tank farm data becomes visible in the upper grid. To view data for a specific item in the models view, for example, you can use the tree in the lower grid. This list includes all types of trial object under the object selected for the upper grid. For example, to view the data for all the pressure equipment items in the study, click on the study folder in the models tab of the study tree, which displays the study in the upper grid, and select pressure vessel from the grid view tree. And this shows all the pressure vessels in the study folder. If you want to be more selective and view all pressure vessels in the tank farm folder, for example, you can select the tank farm folder from the study tree, and then all the pressure vessels within the tank farm folder are selected. The same approach can be used for an atmospheric storage tank or standalone equipment items. Specific scenarios can also be selected using the grid view. The icon to the left of the object type in the list shows the position in the tree relative to the parent selected in the upper grid view, where 1 represents a child and 2 represents a grandchild. This feature is a quick and easy way to view your data structure within your study and view all equipment items or scenarios for a given folder. We will now look at organising your data in the grid view. So to sort your data in the lower grid view in ascending or descending alphabetical order, double click on the name column in the lower grid view. This is an easy way of sorting large data sets by name, making individual equipments or scenarios easier to locate. If you want to arrange items in ascending or descending size for a particular input field, double click on the heading of the desired column. This feature is an easy way of arranging items according to specific data input values. You may also group scenarios or equipment items for specific input fields. To do this, we'll move to the Study Tree tab and select the pressure vessel icon to see all pressure vessels within the study tree to view a large data set. And if you move the input field into the blue bar and then drag a column header here to group that column, your data will then be grouped according to the input data for that particular field. So for example, if you wanted to group the pressure vessels by phase to be released, drag the phase to be released into the blue heading at the top, and the pressure vessels will be grouped by the phase released within the grid view. You can also create subgroups within these groups by dragging the desired feature to the blue bar as before. So for example, if you wanted to further group the pressure vessels by fluid state, drag the fluid state heading into the blue bar. This is useful if you want to group large data sets by 2 related input fields. To degroup data, just drag and drop the selected grouping away from the blue bar, and the data will return to its original view. Another useful feature is the Show or Hide Columns option. For example, for a leak scenario, the orifice diameter, direction and tank head may be the only fields that you're interested in. So firstly, we need to select the leak option from the study folder to show all of the different leaks. And show or hide columns, you want to right click on the column headings and select Open Column Chooser, and a dialog will open to set up the column layout. And the columns that you wish to omit from the grid view can be moved to the left hand column, and the ordering of fields in the right hand column can be changed with the up and down arrows. This feature is useful if a specific input that is needed for the calculations is not important for your results, or more specifically, a report being produced from the calculations, where only a few input fields are important. So in the example, we have only selected the name, the full path, the orifice diameter, tank head, the outdoor release direction, and the notes for the leak scenario, because these are the only options that we are interested in. So you can OK this dialog to view only these input data. Another feature of the grid view is adding data. You can use the grid view to add a new item in the study tree without having to use the insert option from the right click menu of an item. For example, if you wanted to add a liquid release from pipework with an average time varying release into the diesel tank 202 equipment, select the diesel tank in the tank farm folder to have this show highlighted in the upper grid, and then in the drop down menu of the lower grid select the time varying leak, and then select the add icon from the toolbar. The new scenario will be shown as incomplete in the study tree. We will now complete the data for scenario by using the ShowHide feature to input specific data. So open the ShowHide feature as has been shown before to open this dialog. Firstly, we want to deselect all of the input fields so that it makes it easier for us to select only the ones that we want to change. So move everything to the left hand column, and the only ones that you want to change are the name, the hole diameter, and the release height from the vessel bottom. So select these few and move them to the right hand column and click OK on the dialog, and then only these three items will be available. So we'll change the name to 50mm time varying leak, the hole diameter to 50mm, and the release height from vessel bottom to 1 meter. This completes the data for this time varying leak, but the error icon is still shown because the diesel tank 202 equipment item now has a time varying release tab that requires new input data. So select the study folder in the study tree, and move to the atmospheric storage tank equipment item in the drop down menu of the grid bar. You can once again use the add remove dialog to view only the input fields that you want to change. We can once again deselect all of the fields, and we want to select only the tank shape and the tank diameter options. We can OK this dialog. We want to set the tank shape to spherical and the tank diameter to 4 meters, and this should complete the input data for the diesel tank 202 folder. This feature of the grid view allows for quick and easy data input once you are familiar with the data structure. It also allows you to add multiple scenarios and input the data for all scenarios at the same time, making the editing of large study folders more efficient. We will now look at the exporting and importing data feature of the grid view. So to export to Excel, the grid view allows you to copy and paste the grid view data. In this example, we will view all pressure vessels in the tank farm folder, So move to the tank farm folder and select pressure vessel from the drop down menu, and then only the pressure vessels in this folder will be visible, and we'll selectively export only some of the input fields using the ShowHide column feature previously discussed. And in this case we have selected the name, the tank volume, material, temperature and pressure. And to export only these input data, go to the General tab, the Grid Tools tab and the ribbon bar, and select Export to Excel from the options, and save the export with the name My First Export. We will now open Excel to view the table. So in Excel, go to File, Open, the C drive, and then DMV User, and this is where your export will be saved. So open the file. The copy and paste option may also be used to export data from the grid view to Excel. The data may then be used in reporting of any analysis, such as tables in the report or the appendices. This feature also allows for data analysis to be conducted within Excel or similar packages. You can also paste data back into Phast. So move back to Phast, and the data may be altered and added to in Excel and then copied back into Phast. This is useful because it means that analysis can be conducted on a large range of scenarios without having to create individual scenarios in Phast, which can be time consuming. We can now explore, for example, how changing the orifice diameter of a pressure vessel leak affects the results by adding and editing to new leaks in Excel and increasing the orifice diameter in small increments. So firstly, we want to select the LPG Sphere 102 pressure vessel in the tank farm folder in the upper grid, and in the lower grid select leak. We want to delete all leaks except the 25 ml liquid leak, which we can also do in the grid view. The data may also be altered and added to in Excel to be copied back into Phast. This is useful because it means that analyses can be conducted on a large range of scenarios without having to create individual scenarios in Phast, which can be time consuming. So we will now explore, for example, how changing the orifice diameter of a pressure vessel leak affects the results by adding and editing new leaks in Excel and increasing the orifice diameter in small increments. So firstly, select the LPG Sphere 101 folder and delete all leaks except the 25mm leak, and select the leak option in the drop down menu and select only the name and orifice diameter from the Hide Show Columns feature, which has previously been explained. We'll now export this table to Excel and save it as my second export. And open it in Excel to edit the data. And we want to increase the orifice diameter in 5mm increments up to 100mm from the 25 starting point. We will then copy and paste all of the new scenarios back into Phast. By selecting the entire row and using the Ctrl C and Ctrl V option. Click Yes on the dialog. Your new leaks will be produced and can be renamed within Phast. Another useful feature of the grid view is the Save Settings option. So settings for the grid view can be saved in the General tab. Select the Save Settings option, and you can name your settings as My First Setting. Click OK on the dialog. And this feature will enable you to save the current heading selection for the grid. Once you've saved the grid settings, they can be accessed in the grid view to apply the same settings to the current grid. This feature is useful because it enables you to save a grid display, alter it, and return to the original if required.